Matt Wilton. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the McGuire Programme webinar tonight. This is the first one that we're going to be doing to celebrate the 30-year anniversary of the McGuire Programme. It's been going on for quite a long time now, and we're going to be having a mixture of different graduates, different ages, different genders, and different times of being on the programme, really. There is a complete mixture of people that are going to be speaking here tonight. So I'm going to be bringing on, first of all, Matthew Richardson. Hi, Matt.
Evening, Matt. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Do you mind if I play the beginning of your video?
Please do, yeah.
Middlesbrough. My hobbies include most sports, especially football. At the moment, I am studying at Leeds student university, where I am on my second year in a degree in.
Okay, so Matthew, your video, what was it like for you? When did you join the programme? Tell everybody.
So that video was filmed 28th of March 1996, so just over 28 years ago, and a long time ago, but I still remember walking into that room surrounded by strangers and making that video.
What made you decide to join the programme? Any particular reason?
A number of things. I think fundamentally, just I didn't like stuttering, the way it made me feel, the way it made me look. And it was just every day was a constant struggle. And I'd reached a stage where I was in university. I'd been told that in my final year, I'd have to make this presentation. And all I could think about from then on was having to stand there in front of a very small class and present. And I decided to leave university. I did until I found out about the McGuire Programme. And like I said, I always remember making that presentation. And I was probably the only one who enjoyed it, because all of a sudden, rather than dreading speaking, rather than hating speaking, it was something I grew to love. So a massive shift, a massive life change for me.
When you say a massive life change, what sort of things happened? What difference did it make to you?
I think it was just the opportunities. I always remember when I was 14, 15, being asked by my speech therapist, because I tried all sorts over the years. And the speech therapist said, "What's the one thing you hate most about having a stutter?" And I think he was expecting me to say something obvious, like reading out in class. And I gave quite a profound answer for a 14-year-old. I said, "I think it's going to restrict me from fulfilling my ambitions and dreams." And true enough, I guess I allowed my stutter to trample over everything I thought about or had the potential to do. I always used my stammer as the excuse. Now, all of a sudden, I didn't have this excuse. And therefore, the big thing it afforded me were these opportunities. And maybe I haven't fulfilled my potential in certain aspects, but it's not for the want of trying. And it's certainly not for my stutter's sake. So, yeah, the opportunities it afforded me was incredible.
You've been on the programme a long time, and you've become a coach, you've become a course instructor, a staff trainer. What makes you come back onto these courses? Is it just for your own speech?
Well, it's a whole host of things. And I've never walked away from a course thinking I should do this less often. Because I think every time you go on a course, you meet new people, you hear about different experiences, and it just all adds to my knowledge. There's a quote, there's a bridge where I am in Stockton-on-Tees, and there's a quote out of the Bible, and I'm not religious at all, but it really sticks out. It says, all the rivers run to the seas, yet the seas are not full. And I just think there's so much more knowledge that I have to learn. There's so many more people that I want to meet. So I don't think I'll ever be too full of hearing about people's successes and how they've changed their life around having been on this program.
So what's your speech like now then? I mean, what's your speech like at work and socializing, and how do you feel it's improved? In what way?
Immeasurably. So I was one of those people, as you probably saw from the video, that was me in virtually every situation, even in comfortable situations with friends and family, I was still struggling. Now I enjoy speaking. One thing I always say before the course, and I'm going to keep this clean, the F word and the C word stood for fluency and cure, because that's what I craved. I think these days the F word is more fun and the C word is consistently. Being able to speak every day in any situation and enjoy speaking, whereas before it was that dread of how will I get by that daily routine of having to speak to people and revealing my not so grubby little secret. So a massive change, and I still practice. I'm still honest with people. So that's what helps me maintain that consistency, I think.
Excellent. And finally, I just wondered what's changed on the program in 28 years. It's a long time for someone to be on the program. I mean, is there anything particular that sticks out that you think is different now?
I think people are more honest. I always remember on my first course, there were a lot of people, I wouldn't say they claimed to be cured, but they were reluctant to talk about the hiccups they had along the way. And every once in a while, you might have a hiccup. But the advantage is of all the support. And if you're happy to work it in, those hurdles become smaller and smaller and less frequent. I would say back then it was a lot more brutal with Dave. I remember one Friday night on the course, we finished at 1:30 in the morning. And obviously you can't do that now, especially with so many younger people coming on the course. And we were exhausted. We weren't taking anything in at all. But it was so attritional and so regimented. But to be honest, Matt, that's what I needed. I was lazy when it came to speech. And I probably needed someone like Dave to tell me what to do and enforce those strong values. So I'm very grateful back then that I joined the program.
Well, thank you very much for coming on tonight. That's brilliant. Really appreciate it. And yes, I'm going to go on to the next person. So thank you, Matt.
Thank you very
much. Okay. Laura Edwards, welcome. I'm going to show you your first day video.
Your name?
Hi. My name is Laura Edwards.
Where are you from?
I'm from Telford in Shropshire.
Who lives with you?
I live with my
Okay, Laura, wow. You did your first day, your first course a few years ago, didn't you, on the online version? What was it? What was your speech like before you joined the program?
Laura Edwards, yeah, I did the April 2021 online course, so
it was in COVID and lockdown. And before the programme, my speech was, you could get away, well, I could get away with people not noticing that I had a stammer, which is actually quite surprising when you watch that. But I was really covert and nobody knew at all I had one apart from my family, and it was only immediate family as well. But as soon as you asked me a question, like all of them questions that would catch me a little bit off guard, like something personal or something I couldn't change, I just couldn't say it. And in the real world, I would just avoid it or say I need to go to the toilet or have a cough or something to not say it. But to my family or anyone at home, I was like that all the time. That was just constant and it was really draining. So I decided to join the programme because it was how that was in my family life was slowly starting to move across into my work life and everyday life, and it was starting to become that I couldn't avoid it. So join the programme.
So what was it like for you at work? How did you cope with trying to hide it all the time?
Most of the time was fine. I worked in a secondary school teaching dance, and it used to be my thing that I could just dance and teach dance, and my speech was brilliant. But working in a secondary school, you also have to teach other things, and the theory side of it, I just would alter my words around all the time. And I remember in lockdown, we had to do a parents' evening and phone every single child that we taught because we weren't seeing them. So we wanted to do a sort of check-in, check how they were and speak to their parents. And my school said, okay, you've got to ring every single person in your class. And I was thinking, I can't ring anyone. I can't ring absolutely anybody. So I just absolutely panicked, said I can't do it. And there was just no chance because I thought the only way I could do it is if I maybe pre-record something and play it, but otherwise I won't be able to do it. And I think it was that time I thought I need to do something about this because I've got myself a job where I am speaking a lot and I need a way to help me because it's not good as well when you're teaching people and not being honest as well. Like the kids I taught had a lot of issues and needed support with things. And if I wasn't being honest about myself, and they weren't going to be open with me as well. So,
what was the course like? Was it tough because you did it online? What was it? What would you say it's like compared to? Obviously, you didn't do an in-person course, but what was it like for you?
At the time, being someone that had never done a course before, I wouldn't have known any difference at all because it was all new to me. And from going on a course now in person, you do the exact same thing that you would do online on an in-person course. The only difference is that it is online and you're through a camera. I went out and did contacts on the Saturday. So one day I went and met a coach and did public speaking and speaking to the public. I'd say the only difference was when I did go to a course in person, the vibe, the energy in the room is like completely different. You get more of a buzz of support and a togetherness sort of feeling that maybe you lose a little bit online, but I wouldn't say it was much different apart from the feeling in the room sometimes.
Yeah. And so what's the program done for you, would you say, after being on it for what, 4 years, 5 years?
About 4 years. It's just completely changed how I go into any situation. Before the course, I had it in my head, just no one can know about my speech. It's going to make me look horrible. If I go for an interview, people aren't going to want to hire someone that's got a stammer. How do I be something like a teacher when people are going to be like, how do you teach my kids when you can't speak and just wouldn't answer the phone? And used to always have this long list when I was younger, as in when I'm older, I can't be this, and this because I've got a stammer. And it was like everything I wanted to do, I had to think about before and think, well, can I do that with a stammer? And since I've joined the course, I don't think like that at all. I just do everything I want to do. I do have to use technique and go on courses to keep up my technique, but I just go into everything with I can do this attitude, and I don't have to worry about anything anymore. I don't have to sit and think, oh my gosh, in about 6 hours time I've got this meeting and stress about it all day. I just think I've got this technique now, I'm fine, I can practice, I can use the phone and support network and phone people in practice, and I just go into it with a different mentality. And people don't mind that you've got a stammer, or people don't think, oh my gosh, you've got a stammer, you're not going to get this job. I think every interview I've had since McGuire, which has been a few, I've told everybody, and actually they see it as a really motivating thing, and they're really intrigued and want to know more about it. And how you think people would react is not it at all. It's all in your head. But I think that's what's changed since McGuire, how I view myself with it as well.
Cool. It's brilliant. So last question. You're obviously, there is more men than women that stammer. So women that come on the McGuire course, it is different for them because they're seeing a lot of male faces and not as many female. What's the course been like for you for a female, looking at it from that point of view? And what sort of support is there for the females that join the program?
For me personally, I feel like I was paired a lot with other females. We go out and practice doing public speaking, and when we're learning the techniques, we're often facing another coach. And for me, a lot of the time it's been a female, and for me that's really motivating, because when I first joined the program, I was really worried about that, because there were a lot of support groups online just in general where I joined it to find out more, and it was all men, and I just feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I guess in a way it's having someone that relates to you as well, because when I joined, there's a girl called Georgia on the program, and she was roughly around my age, and I saw her and thought, oh my gosh, she's maybe a bit like me, maybe I can relate to her a little bit, and she's a similar age and got this same sort of stammer. And I think that's made such a big difference, because there are so many people that are females on the course, and people say there's more men that stammer than females and so on, but there's so many females that are all different ages on the course, and it shouldn't make a difference, I suppose. But for me, being a female, it really did make that difference to me, and knowing that when I'm spending a lot of time with coaches, that I can relate to them in that way as well. And when you do the support groups afterwards, there's so many females on there as well. But coming from that as well, the male coaches are just as helpful. And for me, maybe I needed someone a little bit more firmer that wasn't just going to have a nice little chat with me about girly things, and I needed someone to maybe be a bit more firmer. So in some ways, the men on the program were just as helpful as well. But it is nice to feel comfortable and know there's females on the program too.
Great. Well, thank you for coming on tonight. That's brilliant. I'm just going to go to the next person. So thank you, Laura. Goodbye. Okay, now I'm going to bring on a young lad who's only 10. He recently did his first course in Bristol, Campbell Hall. Campbell, welcome. Hello.
Hi. Hi, Matt. How are you?
How are you? Okay.
Yes, thanks. Good, thanks.
Good.
We're really excited.
Good. Brilliant. I see there's a little bit of a sound delay, but hopefully we'll be fine with that.
Sorry.
I'm going to show the beginning of your video. Okay, is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yes.
just need to open it up now.
Hello, can I ask for your full name, please?
My name is Campbell Hall.
Nice to meet you, Campbell. How did you hear about the McGuire Programme?
My dad found it, and he knows a person that I think works here.
Okay, great. Do you know the name of the person who works here?
He's called Rich Winkup.
Yes, I know Rich. Okay, and how do you find your speech affects you at school?
At school, I don't like reading our class book out because of my hammer, and answering questions.
Okay, I'm really sorry to do this. Can we ask you to read from a passage from the book, please? Thank you.
Psychology of Stuttering or someone else's, it's mine.
Okay, Campbell. Wow, your first course was in March, wasn't it? So not that
Yeah,
long
not
ago.
long. Yeah.
What made you decide to join the program?
Well, I knew I had a end of year school play coming up for year 6, and I really wanted a part, but I felt restricted in that time because of my speech, and that felt really horrible and bad. And then by this point, I was just tired of having to hide away and not properly come out and read out in class, and it kind of felt, why can't I just be normal like other kids at school? And I just fed up. And then my dad knows Rich Winkup, who's funnily enough now my coach, and I met up with him and he told me about the course, and yeah, and it sounded really great, and I just thought, why not? Let's give it a go, and it's changed my life. So yeah.
What was it like for you? Because you're 10 years old, and to be honest, not a lot of 10-year-olds join the McGuire program at that age. They're probably not ready, not mature enough to attend. It's got to come from the individual. So obviously, I spoke to you before the course myself, and I know what you were like, and you gave me the impression you really wanted to attend, that you were going to give your all, and it was all coming from you, not your parents, not anyone else. But what was it like for you doing your first course? Because obviously 99% of people are adults on the course, or perhaps not 99, but a lot more than there is children. How did you find it?
Yeah, of course. It was a bit overwhelming at first because I came into the waiting room and I saw lots of nervous faces just like me, but the difference was they were all adults, and I was a bit nervous, and that, knowing I was the only child here, well, young child here, it was a bit intimidating and overwhelming. But then I met a boy who was 14, I think, and we were both quite young together, and it was quite nice to have someone in my group that was young like me, but obviously not as young. So yeah, it was a bit odd at first, and I didn't really know what to expect, and to know it was pretty much just adults, that was quite overwhelming. So yeah.
There's a lot of 14, 15-year-olds on the program now, and some want to become coaches, not quite old enough to be at the moment, really. And obviously you've got some time before you're 18. But just thinking a little bit about what was it like for you learning the techniques? Because it's hard enough for an adult to learn these techniques, and it is a very intensive 3-day course. How did you find that?
It was really interesting, actually, relearning to speak, and I never thought I'd need to speak in my whole life. I never thought I'd need to slow my speech down and do hit and hold and block release, but it turns out it's really helped, and it was quite weird just sitting in a chair opposite, obviously, a coach, looking them right in the eye and just going alpha or just practicing that technique. And it was really it was really good, but then when you're doing it, it kind of feels like, why am I doing this? And then when it all matches together, when all of the 3 days link together, that's when you're kind of like, oh, okay. Because in the first day, I was kind of like, right, this is a bit odd. I'm speaking differently. But then when it all links, it's just great. So yeah, it was really interesting.
Fantastic. So you've only been on the program a few months, so I don't know if you've got any particular achievements that you can share with us, but is there anything you've done since the program that you've been able to do because of your speech control you're getting now?
Yeah, so I was talking about the play. The auditions were a couple of weeks ago. The play was Matilda, and I was going for the part of Mrs. Trunchbull. And I actually met up with Rich Winkup, and just to practice my lines with him, because obviously this was my hope for during the whole course of doing it, and I was really hoping to fulfill my dream, really. And luckily they came back saying, yeah, I got the part of Miss Trunchbull, and that was just so cool, because like last year I knew there was a play coming up, and it was like, yeah, I'm never doing this. And I looked up at the main parts and I went, imagine doing that. That's mad. And like you can speak normally and have fun. And then when I heard I got the part, it was just quite amazing to hear, because there was my hope. So yeah, that's probably my top achievement by far. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank
It's
you.
great. Such a incredible achievement, such a young person, and you've got such a great future ahead of you, I'm sure. And looking forward to seeing you on your second course in Manchester soon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll
not
be
long now. Not long. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I could talk to you
Thanks.
all night, but time is flying by. So I'm going to have to say goodbye. And do you know what? Next up is your coach. So that's incredible. He can say a little bit about you as well and what you've been like. So thank you very much, Campbell.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye. Wow. What a young lad. Well, what a very bright, intelligent young lad. And it is tough for young people to do the McGuire course. There's been plenty that have attended who have not been able to be successful because they've attended because they feel they have to. You know, they don't really want it themselves. They don't really want to make that change. Young Campbell does. And I think I just urge any parents that watch this to, you know, it doesn't matter how old you are, it's got to come from you. You know, it's not got to be something that you're forced into doing. Otherwise, it just won't work. Okay, just a quick note that we've got a comments bar. So if anyone has got any comments, please feel free to post a comment in there. I'll try and go through them at the end. But we're going to now bring on Rich Winkup, who is a coach to a lot of people. Rich.
Hello. How are you, mate?
I'm very good, thank you. And at the final hour, I think I've got your first day video somewhere.
Left it late.
Play it. Yeah, you always do. Here we go.
Hi, hello. Just the telephone number. Yeah. Richard Winkup. Yeah, no, Number three, the part store in the world.
Okay, well, first question to you really is, you've obviously been on the program a while, I presume, but looking at
Yes.
that video, and
Yes.
you are a bit older. So when did you join the program?
That will be 25 years ago in about 6 weeks' time. So July 1999 was my first course in Bournemouth. Lovely place.
Wow. And what do you think now, looking back at that video? Well, how does it make you feel?
Obviously quite proud of the progress that's happened. Slightly depressed at the physical change in which I've endured over the last 25 years. I had a lovely head of hair back in the day, but that ship has sailed sadly now. But yeah, just it's nice to reminisce about what it was like. It wasn't easy, a bit like what Matt Richardson was saying. That was me on a normal Thursday. That wasn't me in a stressful situation. I could go to the local co-op and be like that when I was growing up. So it was tough getting on a bus and having to write down your destination and asking for Marmite with a little cue card because it's never where you expect it to be in a supermarket. Trying to get through presentations at uni with people falling asleep because there wasn't much going on. I can't blame them. There was very little content happening. So yeah, a long time ago. And strangely enough, I don't really associate with that person in the video anymore because life is so wildly different now. I'm doing stuff that I never would have thought possible back in those days because the McGuire Programme was the springboard to what I would call the rest of my life. So really indebted to it, hugely indebted to it.
So how did you find, a long time ago, but how did you find your first course as someone that was that overt with their speech?
It was really hard. It was draining, both mentally, physically, and emotionally. But you have to go through some pain and some discomfort to get through to the other side. And I knew that because my stammer was so chronic that I knew something was going to have to shock me to deal with it. And I've still got reminders. May I take the time to show you? This is the poster that my mum, God rest her soul, took out of the Stowe Library that first told us about the McGuire Programme. So It was a long time ago. The McGuire Programme used people photocopying posters and stuff. But yeah, it was different. It was a bit more chalk and talk, flip chart and pens, as opposed to now it's all gone high tech. As Matt really well alluded to, it was quite regimented. It was quite harsh in its approach, but I think it needed to be. Like Matt, I came from a position of decent level sport, and I needed to get into that mindset that I was confronting my stammer in order to beat it. I couldn't look at it any other way. And now I think society has changed and the McGuire Programme has changed with it. It's more of a holistic approach. I've been lucky in developing the sports psychology side of the teaching on the McGuire Programme. The training like an athlete, the thinking like an athlete, setting goals, training, practicing. So I'm really lucky that I've been involved in that. But yeah, it has changed because it's needed to change. Back in 1999, the techniques probably wouldn't have been as effective nowadays because it's a different world. The world moves on and the McGuire Programme has moved on with it.
Yeah, well, I just find it really hard to get my head around the fact that, you know, it's a different approach for someone that's more covert, that hides their stammer, And, you know, from me, I had certain words and sounds that I struggled with quite a lot that I just would avoid, but I could say a lot of words and sounds to get by, you know, but with you must have felt like totally trapped.
Yeah, I was. And I'd been very lucky in that I'd grown up in a place called Stow-on-the-Wold in the Cotswolds. I played rugby for the local team. Everybody knew who I was, and everybody almost didn't expect me to speak. They knew that I had a stammer because it was blatantly obvious to everybody. So there was no pressure put on me, nothing. So I was very lucky. But then when I moved to college and university, that's when it became apparent that I had to do something about it. I couldn't rely on my fiance at the time, now my wife, to do speaking for me. If I wanted to achieve goals of coaching and teaching, I had to make a change. And when we went to an open day in Bath and I saw these people speaking in control of their speech, I couldn't believe it. And I knew that I had to do it. And there was a video that said, one bloke on that video said, I'd give my right arm to be able to speak. And I'm like, that's exactly like me. He's literally in my head. And after that, I could not do it. I had to give it a crack.
Wow. Well, just before you leave us, achievements, is there any particular achievements you can pinpoint over the years?
Yeah, there's been a few, but I think coaching people like Campbell makes my heart sing. That's why you go back, because I went on Campbell's first course because obviously we'd spoken about it many times, and just to see him do what he did was incredible. And that's why I keep going on courses, to meet other people, but also to see the progress of not just everybody, but for me, the people that you specifically got on the program and you become a stakeholder in their journey. And I'm lucky to be even more of a stakeholder in Campbell's journey, to see what I probably would say would be the future of the McGuire program right there. Because the kid's a different class. He's a different class.
Yeah.
You know? I think I've had a good life, and people know about stuff, but you know, I've been on telly, I presented radio shows, I lecture at a uni, I coach rugby, I commentate on rugby, I speak for the D of E award scheme, but I'm also a professional Father Christmas. It's seasonal work, but you know, it's good. And none of this would have been possible without the McGuire program. And yes, it's been hard, but you have to make yourself be comfortable with feeling uncomfortable, because it's no use coasting through life, taking an easy ride. You've got to step out your comfort zone and push yourself. And the McGuire program's helped me to do that. And it's thanks to you guys and everybody that it's going from strength to strength.
Well, it's great to have you on. It's great to have you on. Thank you very much for having a chat with me. And I shall get to the next person as time's flying by. So
thank you, everyone.
Okay, next up, it's going to be Kiara. So hopefully you're here under a different
Hello, everyone.
Matt Wilton. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. You were on Campbell's first course, so you're also very new to the program.
Yes, I am. I joined the Bristol course February 2024 with Campbell and other students.
And before we start, there's Sarah Shell.
Exactly.
Is there any particular reason for that?
There is actually. So I have a few words, and they start with S. So before joining the McGuire, I used to not say any words with S at all. You just have it in my head to use whole sentences without any S words. And now I'm just doing the opposite. I'm just trying to face it. And shall is my most feared word. So I thought, what's the best way of using it more often than having it as my surname.
Well, it's great to have you on, and just going to play the beginning of your first day video, which is slightly different to Rich Winkup's, let's just say. Have a quick look.
Hi, can I ask for your name, please?
Yes, my name is Chiara Cattabriga.
Nice to meet you. What do you do for a living?
I'm a consultant at Deloitte.
Okay. Whereabouts do you live?
I live in London, in Whitechapel.
Okay, great. Do you enjoy your job?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I would prefer to do something more sustainability related.
Okay. How did you hear about the McGuire Programme?
I actually have a colleague that is here with me tonight that did the course.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, she said that it was really good, and so I just wanted to try it as well.
Amazing. What's her name?
Lisa.
Okay.
Matt, I can't see you. I think there is a tech issue, so I'm sure Matt will come back. Just hang on a few minutes.
Matt Wilton, sorry about that. I don't know. I totally got kicked off, but I'm back.
No worries.
Yes, tell us a little bit about your background, please, and the situation with why you decided to join the program.
Yes, so I am Italian, and I've always been stammering since I was young. It was a bit worse when I was younger, and then it got better. And I've been learning English for all my life, and I saw that I could speak better in English rather than in my own language, in Italian. So I thought, okay, perfect. I'm going to study in English. I'm going to work in English because I can just speak better in this language. And so here I am, and I am a tech consultant. And I would say with the years and with the stress coming, I've started to stammer in English as well. And I joined this course because I really want to deliver speeches with a lot of people, and I get to speak all the time with my work, and my stammer was a bit holding me back, particularly in public speech with a lot of people.
So how did you find the course? What was it like for you? Because obviously you've come from a different angle, whereas I said with Rich Winkup, he couldn't say a word or a sound, and you know, it must have been a totally different direction for him joining the program than somebody like that's much more covert, that could possibly have an excuse of, oh, I'm not too bad in this situation or that situation, or perhaps I don't need the techniques as much. So how did you deal with it when you did your first course?
Yes, so I was not 100% convinced, to be honest, because I thought I'm not that bad. Even if when I'm nervous, I do get to stammer more. So I was not convinced, and I think I had great instructors, Lakesh particularly, that really helped me. And I was still really keen to explore this and to see if that could help me to reach my goal, that is to deliver public speech. And I would say for me, the mental part was very challenging, because on the second day, we spoke about all the feelings that we have and how we try to hide our stammer. That is what I've been doing for all the time. I even stopped talking in Italian at all. I mean, not at all, but it was really tough from a mental point of view.
So what have you been like since the course? Have you had any particular achievements with your speech since you've joined the program?
I would say the biggest achievement for me is to be honest with people. I've just joined a new project today with different people from India, from the US. And the first thing that I said when I had my intro, I just told them that I am working to overcome my stammer and just to bear with me if I'm speaking a bit slower or if I'm pausing for longer and using techniques. So before was just hiding all the time. And if I would stammer, it was a bad day. Now I'm going for it and I'm telling people. So I think that's a huge difference.
One of the biggest things I think's helped me is the support network, and the support network definitely wasn't as strong when I joined in 1998 as it is now. You're quite involved in the support network. You've done a few things, haven't you, since? Why do you think it's important to use the after support on the program?
I think that it's key because we are all very busy people right now. We have different priorities, and having people that we're friends with really helps to keep connected, and to keep being disciplined with the techniques. Myself first, I'm not good at being consistent, and stammering was not my priority before. So with the support network, it really helps me to tell myself, okay, I need to do this, and I might be good for a few weeks, then I'm not, but then every month I am London based, and every month we have a support group session, and then we just go for a drink or for dinner all together. And that really helps me to start properly the day after and saying, okay, this is my checklist and I'm going to do X, Y, Z to improve and become a better speaker.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I know you only just made it because of work and everything, so I do appreciate you coming on. It's great to have another female on and somebody who's recently joined the program. So thank you, Sarah. Shall we say? I really appreciate you.
Sarah is okay. Thank you, Matt. Bye.
Okay, now we're going over to South Africa. We're going to Vuyo from South Africa, who is going to have a chat with us. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Do you mind if I go straight into your first day video, man?
Yes, you can.
Here we go.
Good morning. Would love to hear your name and your address, please.
Okay. I'm Vuyo Tsotso. I stay in Johannesburg.
I have to ask you, you have a shirt?
Yes.
I'm from Holland.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
all right.
Why would you wear that?
Oh, well, it's a good soccer team. Well, used to be. They haven't been that good in the last 5-10 years.
Okay. Nice to have you on tonight. I'm sorry I've kept you waiting. And yeah, so tell us a bit about your background then. What was your stammer like before you joined the program, and why did you decide to join it?
Thank you for the opportunity, Matt. So my stammer was really, really bad. I was a very overt kind of stutterer, so I couldn't really hide it. I would stutter all the time. I think I told my coach that I don't remember ever having a fluent sentence before. So it was really, really that bad. But I think I got to a point where I just really wasn't happy, and I knew exactly why I wasn't happy, and it was starting to lead into other parts of my life. So I knew that I had to make a change. I had to be brave and do something different and try something new. I heard about the McGuire program for quite a long time, but firstly, I really wasn't convinced because, like everyone else, I've had all different kinds of therapies and trying again and again and really failing at those attempts to do something really, really hurt me. So it really, really hurt because I was this smart guy who knew maths and physics really, really well and would get all these awards, but I couldn't learn how to speak properly. So I think I just got to a point where I was afraid of failure. So that's why it really took me that long to join the program. But I finally built up the courage to do exactly that. And yeah, it's really, really changed my life. It's changed a lot of things for me. It's given me so much confidence, and I'm really happy.
So what do you do for work then, Vuya?
So I'm a engineering researcher. So I specifically work in the mining industry. So I do a lot of research work in the mining engineering space.
Okay, and how do you find your speech now since joining the program compared to what it was like in that role?
Much, much better now. It's like day and night for me personally. I really couldn't go a single sentence without actually stuttering, and now I can actually communicate a lot better. I can, give in my inputs at work in meetings, and I can talk a lot more than I actually used to. So it's really given me a lot of confidence. It really, really has. I think I heard some of the people that were speaking. I think it was Rich who said it's really, really about the mental side of the things, and that's the part that was really, really hard for me too. It was really blocking me mentally, and I just felt really, really trapped, and it felt like I couldn't do anything about it until I joined the McGuire program and haven't really looked back since.
No, it's great. It's really, really good to have you on tonight. I do appreciate you staying up and being on this. So thank you so much for joining us. And I will say goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now last but not least, Ashley Gearan. Hi, Ash. Can you hear me? You're on mute.
Ashley Gearan, evening, Matt.
Hello, how are you? All right?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. You're the last but not least. So I will show your video. Again, a slight change in your looks, isn't there, since your first day video as well? So
I think I'm more of a fine wine.
Fine wine.
Terrifying. My name's Ashley Gearan, and Address is 236 Winston Road, Derby. Leicester. And my phone number is 2710762.
Oh, I can only think that you joined a while ago as well. So tell us a bit about when you joined and what was your speech like as a child?
I joined in October 1997, so just after Matt Richardson. And my speech was pretty much like that. Pretty much like the video, it was like that most days. I didn't really have easy situations or easy times where my speech improved, to be honest. I think that was just my speech, how it was. Wasn't much change in what you've seen there, really.
And so for a young person, how old did you say you were when you joined?
I was just turned 17.
17. So what was it like for you? Quite a daunting experience, I'd imagine, being that young as well.
It was. I think I was the youngest for quite a while on the course. So it was a very strange situation, to be honest. And I know, as Matt Richardson said, that the courses were long. They were very long hours. And I remember I actually fell asleep in a hallway because I just wasn't used to being awake that length of time and working that hard. But it was exactly what I needed. Like Matt said, it was very strict and very disciplined, and I was very lazy with my speech, very, very lazy. So it was really what I needed at the right time as well, because I'd finished school and I was thinking about going to college. And realistically, my choices for work were purely based around what job I can do where I don't have to speak. That was my only criteria that I wanted in a job. Nothing to do with money, nothing to do with happiness. Just what can I do where I don't have to speak.
It is incredible how much it can affect us. So when you left your first course, that was a long time for you to remember, but did it all click straight away, or did you have ups and downs as you've been through your journey or your time on the program?
No. After my first course, I'd say 3 or 4 hours after I left, my speech went downhill. And I'd say after a week, it was really bad. It was really bad again. And I thought about, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this course doesn't work. I just couldn't understand it. But then realistically, I wasn't doing anything that I was told to do at all. Everything that I was told to do when I leave the course, I ignored. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. So I went on my second course. And I'd say after my second course, my speech held up strong for maybe 2 months. Then it started to drop again slowly. Went on another course. And it was actually on that course where it really clicked for me. My third course was where it really clicked. My first course was it was hard. It was too hard for me, and trying to face all them fears in one course was too much. So the course appealed to me because I knew that I could attend more than one course and work at my own pace, which was massive.
Yeah. Absolutely. And for someone so young to do that as well, what made you keep coming back onto courses when you keep getting those knocks? I mean, I know because I've been through it myself, and I've had it pretty much. I can relate to what you were saying about it lasting for a bit and then a bit longer and then a bit longer. The more I put effort in to the support network, the longer I could sustain my speech. But what made you keep coming back?
it was a strange feeling of, I loved it. I just loved the feeling of being around so many other people in the same position as me and working together as a team, obviously through a lot of instructions from Dave, but working as a team to move forward. And everyone just helped each other. And then the more closer everyone gets, the more we realise outside the course, we're helping each other as care. Again, on a daily basis, sometimes just ringing each other and focusing on trying to help each other and move each other forward. And then as more and more coaches became stronger on the program and started coaching everyone, it just moved everyone forward so much quicker. So it was just enjoyment.
So, yeah, you've touched a bit on what it was like before, 25 years ago or longer than that now. What has changed for the better, would you say, on the program through the years of you being on it?
Coaches and support. So the thing is, when I left, I had a primary coach, but he wasn't on the course, maybe 2 courses, 3 courses. So he wasn't ready to support people because the course was so small and it was such early days.
Yeah.
Now there's over 100 people that are well able to support. And it's not even able just to support, they've actually been trained on how to coach, on how to instruct and how to guide everyone. And it's so apparent that people get so much more support and move forward so much faster, and it's just great to see.
I think it's gone, obviously it was very strong in the UK for quite a while. Now it's very much global, and it's incredible, especially with the use of social networking and all these different like WhatsApp and things like that. The fact that I can get a phone call from people from anywhere in the world asking for support, and on quite a regular basis. It's just incredible how the program's evolved in that way.
Nice.
And you're a big part of that. You've obviously come through the program wanting to be a coach, instructor, staff trainer as well. What makes you keep coming back? A bit like Rich and Matt and to Laura, who's also a coach, really. What makes you decide to come back on courses?
One of the reasons is the same reason that I gave on my first course. Enjoyment. I enjoy courses. I enjoy the feeling of courses and coming back and seeing everyone. But now there's a second reason. I think I enjoy to coach people and enjoy to help and support. And that actually took me a while to realize that I could offer something. And I think one of the things I've learned is that you don't have to be a great coach or motivational speaker or anything like that. You've just got to have experience of putting in the hard work. And when you learn to put in the hard work and learn how to make things work for you, just giving examples of that is what people need to hear. And that's why it's so amazing to see that anyone can become a really good coach, because all you're actually doing is giving your life experiences on the course. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's an incredible program, and isn't it incredible that we can have, like, you instructed the last course or co-instructed the last course, so you recently been able to see people like the 10-year-old Campbell and Kiara attend their courses and follow their journey. It's quite so rewarding to be able to get that sort of feeling, isn't it?
It's a privilege. It's a privilege to watch them all progress and see that happen. And that's why being a coach or a course instructor or staff trainer, it's always a privilege, because it's just constant enjoyment and inspiration. I love it. I really do enjoy it. Never gets boring.
No, well, thank you so much for coming on, Ash, and thank you for waiting until the end. I do appreciate you you speaking to us tonight. It's great. We've got such a mixture of people that have been on the program quite a long time and people that are new. So thank you, Ash. And I'm going to bring on Freddie. Freddie, hello. Freddie from South Africa. How are you?
Freddie from East Asian. Hi, Matt. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you for waiting patiently as well. It's definitely longer than I was hoping it would be, but we wanted to get everybody on. And yeah, you're obviously very involved in the South Africa region. There is some support. I think you've got a improvement day at the weekend, and there's also a course coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, so we've got Improvement Day on Saturday in Pretoria in South Africa. So it's going to be a one-day, like full day Improvement Day that we're just going to really kickstart the region up there or the area up there. So we're looking forward to that. And we've got a few of the like that area's coaches and some of the grads coming back and just getting a refreshment on the course. So it's going to run from about 9 o'clock until 6:30. So looking forward to that. But the main and the most exciting course coming up is the one in Cape Town in just over a month's time. We have one coming up on the 13th to the 16th of June, and that's going to be in the Cape Town area as well. So just outside of Cape Town is the lovely Winelands area, and we had the previous course, Vuyu, who you saw earlier. He joined the previous course there, same venue, and we're going to have a nice, exciting 4-day course this time at that same venue. So looking forward to that. And we're going to have very intensive days, as you have heard on this webinar this evening. So we are looking forward to long days, but it's really, really, really worth it. People are enjoying themselves because they get to see the change. And that's why we will go back. Seems like the common excitement among us is we going back and we really enjoy seeing that change. And on the first day already, you will see a change. We are dealing with different aspects of stuttering. So the first day is really about the physical side of stuttering, how to retrain yourself in speaking, starting with some breathing and then some of the physical weapons we have on the program that really change the way you speak. And you are basically relearning. So that means you have to relearn some habits, but that's where it gets exciting because if you see that change in your speech, then you want to do more. So the next day, after the physical side, on the Friday, we will deal with the psychological aspects of stuttering. So starting very, very early at 7 a.m. in the morning, going up until 9 a.m. in the evening, we will basically deal with psychological stuff. And that means the mental side, the emotional side. How do we deal with this fear of stuttering that we have? So that is a full day's work. And then the next day, which is the Saturday, it's really about combining the physical and the psychological and really just having fun speaking. Now, if you haven't joined the program, you won't know how we can have fun speaking, but join the next Cape Town course and you'll see how much fun you can have speaking. So we'll show you how to have fun with your speech, believe me. So, and that's also going to be a full day. It's going to run from again 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. in the evening. So another intense day, but full of it's really worth it to come out and see how you're having fun speaking. So, and then the last day, which is the Sunday, we'll just end off the day we're going to show you what to do. We're going to prepare you for going home and what you can expect when you return back home and going back into your everyday life. So that's going to be basically this Sunday. It's not going to be a full day. It's just going to run until about 2 p.m. And then we're going to allow you to go and rest a bit before you start your next day. Well, in South Africa, it will be a public holiday the next day. So you'll have another day to catch up on some rest. And then you'll see the change in yourself, what you have done over that weekend. So as you can hear, it's going to be a very busy weekend, but we're really looking forward to it and looking forward to invite all the returning grads back on the program as well. So the returning grads come back and they help us basically to teach the new students what to do. So new participants join, old participants or grads will be helping and extending their feedback and showing what experiences they have gone through and sharing that with you guys. And that is part of the support and the support network. So when you go home, you'll have that support and you'll not be on your own. So you'll see you're not the only person with a stutter. There are many others and they are there to help you. So that's basically the course in a nutshell. And then after that, the real work starts. So you'll see the change, and then you're going to be excited to go home and do some of the real work that will bring you to this wonderful speaker that you can become, and you'll see the possibilities that there are. Sorry, Matt, I'm not sure where the question started, but that's about where I see the course is going. So is there anything I missed or anything that you want to know?
No, I don't think so. I just think, this is a worldwide program, and it's great that we're now running in-person courses in South Africa. I want to thank you, Freddie, for doing everything you've done. You've organised the first course since COVID, and now we've got the second course. So there is many opportunities for different courses around the world. And as well as that, we've got a course in Manchester coming up very soon as well, even less time than, I think, the 5th to the 8th of June in Manchester. So if you want to join, it's a very similar setup to what Freddie was saying. Slightly different days and hours, but they always are slightly different depending on the region. But I think that's it, Freddie. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who's attended tonight. Really, really appreciate it. It's been really good. Now it's gone on for an hour and 15 minutes nearly, but we will say goodbye. And if you have any questions or anything, please do feel free to email me or give me a ring. All my details are on the website. If you do have any questions about South Africa, I can also pass you to Freddie, who will be very happy to answer any questions from the South African point of view. So thank you, everybody, and good night.